Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
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 Everything okay?
Yep. Yeah, had the first was able to get into the robotics and image guided surgery class. So did Nick get the chance to email you or to text you?
You text me. Yeah, the problem.
Okay, just making sure.
So up to now, everything is working.
Yes, yeah. Everything should be good. Got was able to get into the canvas and everything. So thank you for working with that.
Oh, that's my job. I'm here to do that. Hi, Jacob. Hi, Gabby. So today, oh, after the class, I will prepare a share Google Drive and I will share the videos in that Google Drive. Okay. So almost half an hour after each class from today, uh, you can access the video of the class. Okay, I will share it. Today, we are going to discuss a surgery technique called external fixation. Before beginning it, I want to make you familiar with some orthopedic companies because you hear their name a lot in the surgeries, and sometimes we use their name and their brand instead of the name of a device. For example, when you want, because the Striker company prepares the best orthopedic soles, when we want an orthopedic sole, we don't say give me the sole, we say give me the Striker. And when we say the Striker, we mean the Striker sole. So it's not bad to be familiar with the big name. The largest orthopedic company, which is purely orthopedic, is Zimmer Biomet Company. They produce everything that you can imagine in orthopedic surgery. Spine surgery, knee surgery, trauma surgery, arthroplasty, anything that you can imagine this company produce. The other one is a Striker. This is the second largest, and it's the same as Zimmer. They produce every single piece of devices in orthopedics. The next one is Johnson and Johnson. You are familiar with Johnson and Johnson and Company. Johnson and Johnson Company is the largest medical company in the world, and it includes more than 500 different companies. One of them is orthopedic devices. Their orthopedic devices are under the name of Johnson and Johnson, but other brands are not made. Other products may not be under the name of Johnson and Johnson. Like they produce suture material, and they are under the name of Etiban. So, but they are owned by Johnson and Johnson. This side is Johnson and Johnson Orthopedics. Johnson and Johnson acquired a huge company several years ago, more than a decade ago. It's called Synthesis. Synthesis is a Swiss company. It was established in Lausanne, and it was one of the largest companies in trauma devices. And Johnson and Johnson acquired this company, and now it belongs to them. Their headquarters is here in the southern part of Philadelphia. And both large orthopedic companies, Smith and Nephew, they also produce lots of orthopedic devices, but mainly they are active in joint replacement. There is another company that focuses on arthroscopy. It's called Arthrex. If you remember, arthro means joint, and Arthrex means something related to joint. That is why they call it Arthrex. They only produce arthroscopy devices. These four companies are U.S. companies, and their headquarters are in the U.S. The largest non-U.S. orthopedic device company is Fluff. Fluff is a German company, and it belongs to the B. Brown company. You are familiar with B. Brown company. Many electrical appliances in your kitchen may be B. Brown. There is a foundation in Switzerland called AO Foundation. AO stands for this, I don't know how to pronounce them. These are two German words, but they mean Association of the Study of Internal Fixation. They are a non-profit organization, and they study trauma surgeries and the fixation devices, only the fixation devices, not arthroplasty or arthroscopy, only fixation devices. And actually, AO is the reference for all the internal fixation techniques. Whatever they say, everybody accepts. At first, the Synthesis company belonged to this foundation. Whatever they performed research on, and based on their results, they produced the device in this company. But later, they sold it to Johnson & Johnson, and now they are only a foundation, a scientific foundation, but they continue their career to produce the science in internal fixation, and not only internal fixation. The name is internal fixation, but any trauma surgery, and they are actually the reference for trauma surgery in the world. These are the name of the big company, and sometimes you hear they say, "Give me the striker knee." You must be familiar with the. This is the name of the company, and they have a specific kind of knee that the surgeon wants. But external fixation. External fixation in some way is the simplest way of fixing a fracture because although it is a surgery, because we insert something inside the bone, but everything is outside the body. We don't open the fracture site, and the skin is intact except for the side of the insertion. So everything is outside the body. That is why we call it external fixation. And it's very fast, non-invasive, and sometimes light and being stable. External fixation can be temporary. For example, a patient has a severe wound in the knee. We cannot perform surgery on it. We apply the external fixator and we wait until the wound heals, and then we turn the external fixation to internal, to definitive treatment. Or it can be the definitive treatment for the patient. So how long we keep the external fixator on? It depends on our plan. If it's temporary, until the condition has resolved. If it is permanent, it depends on the pattern of the fracture or surgery we had. So it may remain in place even for more than a year. Why we use external fixator? The first one and the first intention was for fracture stabilization, but not in any fracture. When we could not perform an internal fixation surgery, we use external fixation. For example, when there is a wound or the soft tissue has been injured too much, has been crushed, or I told you it is a very fast surgery. So when a patient is in critical condition, we don't have time for a surgery. So we do external fixator to align the fracture, to correct the deformity, and to regain the perfusion to the knee. And then after a while, we come back and perform the definitive surgery, then the patient is stable. But this is not the only indication. Sometimes we use it for correcting the deformities in the limb, or we use it for joint stabilization. For example, in elbow, in wrist, in knee, when we have a dislocation and the ligaments around the joint are disrupted, when we reduce it, there is nothing to hold the joint in place. And if we leave it alone, it will dislocate again, it will be separate. So to keep it in place, we have to use something. We cannot use an internal fixation device because we cannot pass a device over the joint. We must keep the joint safe. So the best way is to use something outside. And the best thing is external fixator. We use the external fixator until the ligaments are healed, and then we remove it and deploy it safely. And one good indication is when we have a bone defect. When we have a bone defect, you will see later in the video that we can use the external fixator to reconstruct the defect and to induce bone formation, which we call it osteogenesis, bone formation, which we usually cannot do it with internal fixation. We have several types of external fixation. One of them is, it is called unit. These are the patterns of external fixator application. One is uniplanar planar fixators, as you see here. They are in one plane. Everything is in one plane. The rod, the pin, in only one plane. We have biplanar. They are in 2 or 3 different planes. One plane here, one plane here. The uniplanar is usually is the simplest one, it's the easiest one to apply, and it's the fastest one, but it is the least stable one because it can only be operated in one plane and in the other plane, it is not rigid enough. So if you need more rigidity, we use bi or triplanar. We have a specific type of external fixator introduced by a Russian scientist called Fixator. They are circular fixators. Instead of this bar, we use circular plates and they are fixed around the ring and they can be very effective in correcting the deformity or treating complex fractures. And the last one is hybrid. Hybrid is the combination of circular and the conventional fixation. As you see here, we have one ring here and some bar and pin. So this is the combination of these two. It is called hybrid. It is used for more versatile function. The components we use in external fixator, that this is the part that you are most interested. The first component is a tube. Tube is the part that connects the rod to the bone. Actually, the pin is the part that goes inside the bone. The pins in external fixator are usually half pins. It means that they don't cross the bone. They are inserted into the bone and they will remain there and they will not come out of the other side. Usually the tip of these pins are threaded and the piece that when you want to insert it can have a drill shape so you can drill the bone with it, and the body of the pin is smooth to be able to be fixed perfectly to the rod. The pins are in different sizes. The lengths can be different based on the bone, based on the size of the person, and also the diameter can be different from 3.5 millimeters to 6 millimeters. They can be different. The diameter can be based on the bone and the rigidity we use. Thicker and more rigid. We have another kind of pin that is much thinner and we call it wire to differentiate between them and the pin. And you see here, the thickness is much different. The wires are used for circular external fixation. We don't use wires for the conventional ones. Wires are only used for circular fixators and they are very thin, about 1 millimeter diameter, but they are very effective. We'll see later how they work. The next part is the clamps. Clamps are the connecting part that connects the rod to the pin or to wire. There are countless types of these clamps. Every company has produced a single type for itself. You see some of them here. Some of these clamps connect two rods together, one rod here, one rod here, and they are connected together. One clamp connects two things to one rod that passes through here. Or they can connect one pin and one rod together. Here, one pin and one rod. So there are different types, but the important thing is the design must provide a stable fixation when the bolts are tightened. So the rod and the pin should not move in this plan. And the next part is the rod, the large metal or composite or carbon fiber rod that connect the pins together, and they are actually the main fixator of the system. They provide the stability, so they are thick, usually 10 millimeter in diameter, and they can be long. As you saw here, they can be very long, and they can span the whole system, or they can be short, and you can connect these short rods together with another rod. So like here, we have two short rods and one connecting rod here. These rods are very rigid, and when they are made of stainless steel, they are heavy, but carbon fiber is much lighter. Some companies have combined the rod and clamps together and provided a construct with a specific name, like Austin, like Peter. These constructs are actually the combination of clamps and rod, but they are very adjustable. You can change the orientation of the clamp, and also you can change the orientation of the rod. And specifically, when you fix the external fixator, and a few days later you need to make some changes, like here you see the bone is not correctly aligned. So a few days later, you can adjust it by gradually turning the nut, and it will correct the bone. But with this one, you cannot do that, because as soon as you loosen the hole, the connection here is lost. And if you want to correct it, you have to return the patient to the OR, to the operating room, and under the anesthesia, you will need to correct it, because the stability will be lost as soon as you lose the nut. But here, you do not lose anything. You correct it, because they cannot be, they can gradually be corrected. But they have a huge problem. They are bulky and they are very heavy. But sometimes we need them. And the rings. This is the rings for external ring external fixator or elytra. Usually the general term is ring external fixator, but everybody in this field knows it by elytra. When you say elytra, everybody knows what it is. As you see, these rings are where the place that the wires are connected to them. These wires pass through the bone, and they are connected to the gland, and they hold them inside the rings. This is a construction for the leg. The leg lies here, and here is for food. So the foot is located here and connected to this femoral ring. Everything will be kept in place. These rings can be made from stainless steel. This is the usual one because they are cheaper, but they can be made of titanium to be a little bit lighter. Or the best one for them is carbon fiber. Sometimes in external fixator, we need to make some adjustment in the angle or use a joint to be able to move the body part. For example, here we have a hinge. This hinge can be fixed or it can be mobile. When it is fixed, it holds the whole construction here. But if we want to practice the deformity and bring the foot upward toward the dorsiflexion, we can use this hinge and we can gradually bring the foot upward. And also, we can release this hinge, and when it is loose, the patient can move the foot. So these things are very functional for the doing external safety. So whatever I said up to now was about the fixation. We use the external fixator for fixation, but we use it for some other goal. One of them is called distraction osteogenesis. Distraction osteogenesis means forming bone or making bone with distraction. How it works? When we have two parts of the bone close together, if these bones are alive in a living body, and they begin to distract them, to separate them gradually, 1 millimeter a day. As we distract them, these two parts of the bone, our living bone, starts to produce new bone. So if we distract them slowly to allow them to produce sufficient amount of bone, as we distract them, we are producing bone in the hollow space between them. And after a while, we have a lot of bone here. This is the basis for distraction osteogenesis. So sometimes we have a bone defect and we cannot reconstruct it with any technique. For example, a patient has an infection here and we have to remove his bone. If you put any external bone graft, any external bone, any substitute here, it will act as a foreign material and the infection will repair. So we cannot do that. And we cannot leave the patient with this bone defect. We have to reconstruct it. So in this condition, we apply an external fixator. Forget about this nail inside, okay? This is something else. We apply an external fixator here. And then we perform an osteotomy in one side of this defect. This osteotomy is cutting the bone, separates this little part, and then we put several things inside it and connect it to a distraction rod. And gradually move this part toward the other one. As we move it away, these two surfaces are producing new bone. But remember, 1 millimeter a day. So if it is 10 centimeters, it means 100 days it takes to reach to the other part. So when this part reaches the other part, these two surfaces now can join together, and the bone here, new bone that was born here, we allow it to remodel and become the new femur, the new bone. This is called distraction osteogenesis. Sometimes we use the same mechanism, but not for this transportation, for lengthening, something like this. We cut the bone here, for example, if a person has a femur that is shorter than the other side. In human body, we cannot lengthen, we cannot increase the length of the limb activity because there are arteries, nerves, and muscles that are adapted to this current length. If we distract the bone, increase the length, for example, for 5 centimeters, and put a bone gap there, for bone, it will work. But it will ruin the arteries and nerves, and the limb will be useless. So we have to stretch the limb gradually to allow the muscle, nerve, and artery in the limb to stretch gradually and adapt to this lengthening. So here again, we use the external fixator, and this is also called a distraction rod, and it can distract these two parts apart and increase the distance between them. So the osteotomy we perform here will gradually widen and increase the length of the limb. And as this osteotomy is separated, the new bone formation, which we call distraction osteogenesis, forms here, and the defect will be filled. This is the basis for limb lengthening in orthopedic surgery. So today we have some other devices that will be inserted into the medulla. We will discuss them when we reach the intramedullary ligament. They can be used for this lengthening, but they are not as effective as this external fixator. Another device that we need for elbow is tension. Let me show something. You see here, if we want to connect this external fixator here, we need 3 large pins. These pins are about 5 millimeters in diameter. 3 large pins here and at least 2 large pins in the distal part. So we need 5 large pins to connect the external fixator to the bone and to stabilize the bone. But still, it is not rigid enough to allow the patient to walk on it. The patient needs to be careful. But in ring external fixator, we use only 2 thin wires. 2 thin wires here, 2 here, and the same here. So we only have 8 1 millimeter wires. They are very thin. You can bend them easily. But with these 8 wires, they are so rigid that we can ask the patient to walk on them. How it happens? It happens by this tension. When you insert this wire, you see they are very thin. You will see later in the video, we apply some tension to these wires and then we fix them. So the wire is under tension like here's our wire. It is under tension. And that is why they can hold the lead and you can apply weight on the ring. It's not. We have some washers, we have nuts, bolts, different wrenches, based on the design and the company, they are different, but the company, the big company generally try to keep the standard. And the bolts and the wrenches that are used for external fixators that are produced by the standard company, they are interchangeable because sometimes, for example, you are not working with a similar company. You are working with a striker company, but you have a patient that has an external fixator previously applied uh, and designed from similar company. If the wrenches are not interchangeable, you cannot remove that external fixator from the patient. So you cannot do it. That is why they try to make the not both in external fixator in a standard size and weight that all wrenches can be used by surface. External fixator is not a rigid construction. Later, in our discussion on plates, you will see we have two kinds of fixation in the one is rigid fixation, and the other one is semi-rigid. The rigid fixation, although the name is good and we like it, rigid fixation, but from the biologist standpoint, bone biologist standpoint, it is not good at all. Bone is a living tissue. It needs loading to produce new bone. If a bone is not under load, gradually losing its mineral and its content. You may have had experience with people with elderly people who are bedridden. After a while, they begin to have multiple fractures because they are not watching and their bones are not under continuous load. So if a load is applied to their bone are weak and they break easily. The same thing happens when somebody is in the space for a long time, for more than 6 months. When they come back here, their bones are weaker than the normal people because they were weightless there and no load was applied on their bones. So whatever we do for fixation, we don't want to remove the load from the bone. We want to share the load. External fixator, internal fixator, whatever we use, we want to share the load between the bone and our device. If we remove the bone, the load from the bone, we are working against the biology. External fixator is a good example for load sharing device. It means when you have fixed a bone with external fixator, when you apply the load on the plane, the load can be passed through the external fixator, but if there is contact between the bone end in the fracture site, some part of this load also passes through the bone. So the bone is under load, so the biology is safe. And also, the most part of the load passes through the external fixator, so the construction is stable. Because this holds the fracture stable and carries most of the load. But still, some load passes through. If there is no contact between the bone, so all the load must pass through the external fixation. And as I said, since this is not a truly rigid one, this is not a permanent construction. You cannot ask the patient to live with it. You have to do something for this people. Otherwise, the external fixator will fail. And the most common site for failure of the external fixator is not the nut or bolt or rod. It is the bone being got. The junction that holds the pin inside the bone. Gradually, bone around the pin is dissolved because the pin has malformations, and these malformations start to dissolve the bone, and the pin will be loosened. So we cannot keep this construction, this type of construction, with no bone contact for a long time. You have to carry it into one of these. As I told you, the circular external fixator works with the same mechanism with some micro motion, load sharing, and non-rigid fixation. So there will be some promotion at the fracture site, so the biology is perfect. But how this thing hold the bone in place? That's because of that tension we discussed. When you apply the tension, the skin is under the tension. If you apply load over the bone, here you are applying the load. The tension inside the skin doesn't allow the skin to bend. So it remains in place, although it is very thin. And that is the beauty of this external fixation. But personally, in my career, I never used circular external fixator for one huge reason, and that is the substitute problem. You have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 things that has a in, so 18 holes in the skin. And these holes, these things are there for a long time. So the skin around the fuse, although they are 1 millimeter, but they change. And when we remove them, there are 18 stars underneath, and this is very distinctive. I always try to use something else instead of a laser, and I hope I have been successful. But the main problem is filtering the stuff. Now let's watch some videos. For this specific code, for whatever we have, what surgery we have on the Precision OS platform, we will use Precision OS, but if they don't have any surgery on their platform, like external fixator, they don't have any external fixator. We use their videos to review them, but I have a question. I prepare the videos here. Do you want to watch them together now? And then you can discuss them. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Or there is another option. You have the videos, you can watch them later, and if you have any questions, we can discuss it next session. Which one is better? For example, I have prepared about, I think, 45 minutes videos. You want them to watch in the class now, or you want them to watch later several times by yourself, and if you didn't understand anything, you can ask which one is better. My choice is watching here because I can have some explanations on them. No, no comment. So let's watch the video. Oh, this video has some interesting things. At the beginning, it shows how to scrub the hands, and I thought it will be useful for you to see how a surgeon scrubs the hand. Okay. Do you hear the voice of the video or not?
No, I haven't really
No.
been able to hear him.
Yes, I have to do something.
Which means in a lot of different parts. It's definitive fixation, which means figures as this and this is the front.
Our own because it's also kind of super glitchy from over Zoom.
It might be better off if we watch the videos separately. We can't really, the video is fine, but the audio, we can't really hear what's going on.
Here you see something, it says the pins are half pin. Half pin is, half of the pin passes to, the pin passes to the bone, but doesn't pass to the other side. But here you see this is a full pin. The middle part is threaded, only the middle part. And the pin passes through the calcaneus to the pin and comes out the other side, and the middle part, which is threaded, remains inside the bone. there is something different. This person is the technician from the company. You see the logo outside in the company here. He's from the company and seems an on-call service, it's not a trauma service. It's an on-call service, so he has to perform surgery that is not an expert. He's explained how to do the employ after. He made a small mistake here. He inserted these two things separately, but I can see they must have to do this connection now. So they have some guides to insert these two things in parallel way. But these things like when parallel, and we have problems, I just going to that is why they needed a technician to guide in the crossing.
So this is the rod here that we're using.
It was nice external fixator. You see, most of the part is an engineering design. There's almost nothing medical. Everything is an engineering design, like building a building, but a simple deal. The next video is from AO Foundation, as I explained for you. It is an academy for private academy for study of the fixation of trauma patients. I recommend you to watch it because it explains everything in detail. And, first, it is on bone. Bone is artificial bone, and I hope when you come to the hospital here, you will perform some surgery on bone. We try to prepare it for you. But since it explains everything in detail, it is a good video for you to watch at your convenience to learn the different terms in the external fixator as we discussed. So let's go to the next one.
Professor, we can't hear you.
It is so important that we design something to apply the marker motion here. It can be applied manually or by applying the load on it, but by weight bearing. But the point is, this kind of external fixator, as you see, this is everything is designed together, plants and garage are together, and they have adjustable units here, so you can adjust everything. And as you see here, we have a moving part that we can change the length and also apply this promotion. One, the things are essential, we correct the vision, they are tightened, and now they adjust the reduction of the fracture. So we can see, we can adjust the alignment, the angle, the rotation, everything we can adjust it. And now the partial motion and dynamic motion. We have another one for instant tibia. Whenever we want to insert something inside the bone, we need to make a hole for it to be inserted by a grid. Unless we have a grid tip. We will discuss it later in the design of the screw canteen. We have self-drilling screw cantines, but if they are not self-drilling, first we have to drill the bone. We don't insert the beam directly into the bone, except for very thin things like the 1 millimeter. So you see there are different designs of the external fixators. This one is the application of new external fixator. Let's see a part of it because many steps of the surgery are repeating the previous steps. So let's see how it works. Sorry, the video is from a channel that uses the
These are the instruments that we will use
Wake up. It's time to peak potential at Success Academy Charter School.
Right? The rods at the appropriate time. So they are credit rods of different types. When you someone use that or
The rest of the thing is repeating the putting the thing, but as you saw here, the thing that was inserted was Python on one side and then put under tension on the other side. And you see here, although this is a very heavy construction, but you see it cannot bend this thing. It remains in place because of the tension in the thing. That is how these things work. Not only the weight of this wing cannot bend these things, the weight of the tension also cannot bend these things. That cannot break them because they are under appropriate tension. So we apply gradually to the here to here and to here and to here and to 18, at least 18, it is finished. Let's see, no, the rest is self-conducting. As you see, I don't want to teach you the self-conducting. I want you to become familiar with the construction, with the structure, and how they are applied. And one important thing, in the video, you see very good results, very good design, and you don't be amazed with them. Every and each of these designs has a problem, at least one problem. And don't think, okay, these are solved, let's think about something. No, these are not solved. We are using them because they are the best, but it doesn't mean they are perfect. They can be better. So, during the course, if you see anything, think about it, and if you can make it better, please do it because you need them.
Growing up, I was a little slower. A basic tenet is when you bring them to each other. Good. Good. So these will be the
Around there, immediately with help people that we have to do. But I want to show you something. For example, one problem here. You see, as the bone is transported downward and distally, this part will continue to move along the orientation of this body. And if it continues to move, it arrives here, and there will be a step, you see, a mismatch here, because the alignment in the bones are a little bit public. So we need to consider the design. In one session, in orthopedic device engineering, we will discuss these alignments in the ring. So, because we need to know if you want to design a device, we need to know the alignments of the ring. And how to apply the devices. This is not the problem with the device. This is the problem with the application. The application must be a little bit different, with a different angle to allow this motion this movement be in correct alignment and reaches the correct position. Otherwise, the new bone that is being formed here will be deformed. It will not be formed. Some surgeons recommend to insert intramedullary vein. In the picture I show you, I told you to ignore that intramedullary vein. This intramedullary vein will help with the alignment, but since these wires here are holding this little segment very tightly, that it will be a fight between these wires and that intramedullary vein to overcome each other force. This one wants to go in this direction based on the wire. The intramedullary wants to bring the middle segment into this direction. So at the end, it is the middle segment that is disrupted. So you see, it is not so simple and easy, and it has a lot of missing points. Still, lots of missing points, missing engineering points. These are not medical, these are engineering. The alignment of the limb is an engineering thing, not a medical thing. So these are all of the you to think about them, correct them, and the goal of this lecture on Wednesday and Thursday and not on Thursday. Because of these two lectures are to introduce the technique and to detect the problem, whatever needs to be changed. To open your eyes, because I'm sure when you look at the technology in the medicine, you are wonder because they are very advanced, but they are not perfect. The most advanced technology in medicine is robotic surgery. The robots that perform the surgery for us, not autonomously. The surgeon is in another room. They perform the surgery on the image, and the robot is performing very meticulous surgery for us that our hands cannot do or cannot reach the depth of the zoom. But all the researchers on the robotic surgery have shown that there is no difference between the results of the robotic surgery and the hand surgery, the surgery performed by the surgeon. So there must be a problem with the robot. There is still something missing in the robot. Yeah? They are not perfect. Otherwise, they would be better than the surgery performed by surgery. So in the sessions that I am present for this Wednesday and Thursday seminar, I make sure that to provide the problems for you, okay? to make clear what problem we had with each design, with each construction. And for external fixator, there are few problems, but there are still many, there are still problems on the real field. But one of them is this one. When you want to align them based on the brain, it is very difficult to align the bones based on the ring, the wire, and the alignment of the ring. But let's discuss this problem when I explain the ring alignment for you, show you the linear with the angle, and the alignment with the ring, and you understand it better. Okay? You can watch the videos later or any other video that you find in this thing. And if you have any questions, you can ask me now and later. Do you have any question now? Do you have any suggestion for the voice of the video when the videos are playing on my computer? The voice must be captured through my speaker, through the microphone and the speaker. Do you have any suggestion to change it? Do you have any correctly? No? You are not my age. You must be perfect with technology. I know. You must. You are which generation are you? You are not alpha, you are not Z, yes? Or are you Z generation? Come on. What is your generation called?
I think we're Gen Z.
I can't hear you.
I said I think we're technically Gen Z.
My generation is called old. My generation is called old. So you are not old generation. You must know something about the technology. If you find something how to solve this problem, for you to hear the voice of the videos, because we will have many videos, and if you find something, please let me know how to solve it. Okay? Because you are better than me with technology. I'm sure you are better than me with technology. Okay, have a good evening. Enjoy your night. See you tomorrow at 5. Yes? Tomorrow at 5. Bye. No question? No? Bye.
Good night, Professor.